Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing Tarot to help us navigate these very interesting times we've got going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. Also, real quick, now would be a really great time to subscribe and like this video. I really do appreciate it, just because it's I'm a small channel and it kind of helps me grow this channel. And so thank you, and thank you for being here. The focus of today's reading is going to be Trump's mental health. Okay, before I say anything else, I am not diagnosing, and this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at, kind of what I'm seeing with my own eyes and what's being reported. And so, I mean, he's got some, if you go all the way back to, they're eating the cats and the dogs, he has not improved. Okay, if anything, he's getting worse. I mean, just real, we've had, he thought that what was that MS-13 tattooed, that Photoshop was real. He actually thought that those tattoos existed. He actually thinks that there's genocide against the white South African farmers. He actually thinks, he was ranting. I've got notes here. That's why I look off to the side. Ranting about, President Biden having stage 9 cancer. There is no stage 9 cancer. That was a scale on how aggressive the cancer was. You have him talking about the country of Mattel. And then this was, a more serious thing that was recently reported is that, so he's ranting about, in his mind, he's got it like we're being invaded by, these gang members from Venezuela. There was a intelligence report that got sent back to the people that wrote it, because they're like, no, that's not what Trump believes. I'm really summarizing here. So so they had to rewrite it. So they were saying, so it couldn't be used against Trump. Well, because it was going to contradict him. And if there's one thing, all of us, I would say most of us have known somebody close to us, who has had dementia, and we recognize this. Whenever he was talking about that tattoos on Abrego Garcia, and it was clearly photoshopped, and he believed it. And when someone is in that dementia state, and they're having those delusions, there is absolutely nothing that you can do to convince them otherwise at all. And I mean, we've seen that. In fact, when I saw that look in his eyes, it was like, oh my God, he actually believes this. Okay, now that is for doctors to deal with. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I want to look at, how long is this going to go on? How long is it going to be before the cult wakes up and realizes he is not fit for office? Okay, and so I just kind of want to do a base reading into that and kind of see where we go from there. As I said at the very beginning of this, this is for entertainment purposes only. Base reading into Trump's mental state. Okay, as I'm shuffling here, it's also been reported that he lives in daily fear of developing dementia, just like his dad. So, and his dad was around the age that Trump is now, whenever he started exhibiting signs and started, exhibiting worrying behavior like that. So, base reading into what is his actual mental health looking like right now. Okay, Trump's mental health. This is state of rest, 4 of Swords. Okay, laying in rest. Let's see what else comes up here with that. I never like to do too much on the very first card because, there's all the other cards that come up. But the heart of this is laying in rest. This could also like being retreating into one's self. So like retreating into one's mind. Let's see. The challenges are, the emotions, the patience. How is it that we're balancing our reality? What is it that we think, versus the reality? Okay. So I always see the water is going to be our emotions, and then standing on this, solid surface is like the physical realm. And I always see this card to me is, balance between the physical world and the emotional world. And this came up as the challenge. And so his challenge is that balance of emotions in our physical world. And it's like, oh my God, if there could be, is there any more of an understatement? Because we're seeing it. Okay. And so the challenge, I think that this is like he's retreating further into that, emotional world, that he cannot bring it into, like his reality is definitely clouded. Let's put it that way. Okay, options. What options does he have? What does he have coming in? This is like this is a more practical approach going forward. And I would say, in the first Trump era, we had people, around him that were the adults in the room. We do not have that this time. There are no adults in the room. Okay. Now, there may be career people that haven't been fired yet, that might be trying to keep the train on the tracks, but those are few and far between. Okay, so the options are needing to have a more practical approach. This could also be, like what treatment plan does he have? Following a treatment plan. Very much could be that. Okay. The past experiences are, and the foundation of this are the restrictions. Okay, and so I'm kind of wondering if the doctors haven't said this is what you need to do, and he's like, I'm not going to do it. He knows best. I don't know that he's going to listen to his doctors, because this is Trump doesn't like restrictions placed around him. Okay. So the recent influences, once again, I'm just seeing this as a retreating into oneself, with this Four of Swords and Hermit card here. So what I'm seeing here is the Trump that you see today is the very best he is going to be mentally and emotionally. Okay. That's it. It's only going to keep getting worse, because that temperance, doing what the doctor says, I don't think that he's going to do. He's never done anything in moderation. Why would he start now? Okay. And then the potential, the outcome of this is, this is 10 of Cups. This should be, happy home. This is also, 10s are completion, and the cups are going to be emotions. And so it's like he's completing this mental health journey in that, this is coming to the end of the road, for him. And once again, with his mental health. So looking at this, this is just like he has options. But I don't know that he's doing that just because he doesn't like restrictions. He doesn't like people telling him what to do. Okay. So, how much more of this? Like, what can we expect from his mental health over the next, let's say, 3 months? That's a nice, what can we expect from his mental health over the next 3 months? The Star card, a lot of these, like the Star card and the Temperance, these are they're watery cards, and a lot of emotions. And so we're talking about anything, with the mind would absolutely fall into this. And it's like these delusions, like these wishes that he has are just like out there somewhere. The challenge is doing what the doctor says. I have a feeling I'm just going to get the same thing again of, he's just going to continue getting worse. This is a doctor. The challenge is a doctor may, step in. That, or the courts. I have in the past got the courts may even, step in with this. The options, we're only going to see things get worse with him. Past experiences, once again, beneath the surface, retreating within, is, very similar to the Hermit card here. As I said, similar, different meanings. This is seeking the truth within. This is going beneath, like the answers are there. Talks going on behind the, closed doors. And this could be, very much like, what are we going to do? Like there, and, this could be very much like there's a doctor or somebody brings this to the attention of those that are not, that it's not obvious to, of what are we going to do? Okay. And these conversations, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not already happening. Like, what are we going to do? Because he is like not all there. recent influences. Congress seems to be okay, you know, giving him what he wants. The oligarchs, I kind of wonder if this isn't the oligarchs, that King of Pentacles, because I know they've not been just real happy. Those tariffs are just destroying businesses. And so, especially about small businesses. So I'm kind of wondering if the oligarchs aren't the ones that are saying, we gotta, we need to have a conversation. And the potential here is battle weary. And once again, this is a retreating within. This card is retreating within, taking a step back, looking at, kind of like where you're at, what lessons have been learned before that final, 10. Okay, that final last step. So a lot of assessment going on here with his behavior. I'm not really seeing, will it come up to a point when it's, like it's enough? Like, are they going to remove him? Is he going to be removed from office? And let me just do 3 cards on that. Is he going to be removed from office due to the mental state? Let's clarify that. But then again, do we really care? Is he going to be removed from office? We don't care how. Okay. And with that, things are up in the air. It's like, and he's full on, like for entertainment purposes only, full on delusions. Okay. That is like, you never know, spin the wheel. You don't know what you're going to wake up to. What this is, surprises. Surprise. What Trump do we get today? And is he going to be removed? The major transformation card. And, yeah, that he's, the death card is just transformation. Like one thing has to end so a new thing can begin. And as he's coming to an end, I'm with this, typically I feel like this is the feeling left out in the cold card. What I'm feeling with this is kind of like he's just a shell of a person. And I can't remember who I was watching, but it was like this comment of, are we going to end up with a, Weekend at Bernie's type presidency? That's the feeling I'm getting with this. Like, I have a feeling like this is going to go on a lot longer than what it should have, because nobody wants to, nobody wants to be the one to say that, he's done. So is there going to be like an event? Like, is there going to be like an event that's just so like we can't deny what we're seeing before our very eyes? Is there going to be some event that brings this about? Needing to tame the beast, overcoming the orange beast here, coming from a place of strength, winning at all costs, and finally making that decision. Right now, it's kind of like they're all drunk on, the 9 of Cups is usually my drunk on power card, but they really like the power. They like what they're able to do right now, and they're completely using his, and they will continue to use his diminished state to get what they want. Okay, so that is, and in fact, I kind of wonder if is it actually going to take the physical meaning of this card before they do anything? Because this is like they know it, they realize it, but you finally get action here, but it's like after, like it takes a while for that to happen. I'm just going to ask, yes or no, is he going to be in office in 3 months? Is he still going to be in office in 3 months? And I think I was kind of asking that with this right here. And it's like, no, Mad King Dawn, it's kind of like a whole new world, within 3 months, and the people rejoice. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he is no longer in the White House in 3 months because of his mental state. And that it's just going to get worse. He's not going to get better. Okay. Today, the Trump that you see today, that's as good as it's going to get. Is there things that he could be doing? Probably. The stress of being president is not helping his health at all. So yeah, I get that. The people around him know. I think that there are conversations being had about that, contingency plans probably, but that they're going to ride that wave for as long as they can, as long as they're getting what they want. So, yeah, Trump is a useful idiot to them and getting what, they want. So there's really no incentive there. And I think it's going to take something just like, really drastic. And like, how bad does that have to be? I guess we will find out. So, yeah, if you're sitting there wondering, is he, well, yeah, he's exhibiting it. And, so that's kind of, I'm just sitting here going, I cannot believe that this is where we're at in this world. But that's where we're at. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe, like, follow, share, all of that great stuff as I'm growing this channel. I really appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next reading. Have a great day.